Welcome to the High Ticket Success Podcast, where premium coaches, consultants, and advisors come for bold strategies, big breakthroughs, and real results. I'm your host, Dave Dubeau. Hey, folks, welcome back. We've got another fantastic guest on the call here today. Marquel Russell is no stranger to working with coaches and clients and helping them to scale their businesses. This gentleman's been doing this for years. He's got schools that do specifically that, helping people to scale their businesses, grow them, be more efficient with not just lead generation, but customer service, client service, creating a real business around your coaching and consulting business. So Marquel, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So Marquel, you kind of serve not just coaches and clients, you serve a pretty broad spectrum of clientele. Can you tell us a little bit about who your target market is, who you serve best?
Yep. So we work with a lot of coaches and consultants, we work with professional service providers in general. So this could also mean therapists, attorneys, individuals. Generally speaking, if a new client to them is worth 3,000 on the low end, and then upwards of 150,000 plus, that's generally where we like to live.
I think that qualifies as high ticket.
100% definitely qualifies as high ticket for sure. For sure.
Fantastic. Oh, that is really, really interesting, Marquel. So I'd love for you to tell me a little bit about your backstory, because you have a very interesting, different path. You didn't go down like the traditional, person that went to university, had the professional career, got burnt out, and decided to start coaching. You came about it quite a bit differently. Tell us a little bit about that.
100%. So I dropped out of high school in 10th grade. So when I was growing up, the only people who I knew who had money were drug dealers. So I dropped out of high school in 10th grade. I went that route. Start selling drugs. I actually, when I had my first son, I was 19. And I met him for the first time in visitation. So I was locked up when I met my very first son.
Wow.
And I got out. I was like, my dad wasn't around when I was growing up. So I was like, okay, I got to do something a little bit different. So I tried the job thing out. The first job I got, well, one of the jobs that I got was changing oil and tires on big 18-wheelers.
Wow.
It just wasn't my thing. So I went back to what I knew best, went back into the streets, and I started a record label because I knew people who did beats and I knew people who rap. So I brought them together and created an entertainment company. So from there, that led us to being in the club every night, because that's kind of where you promote your music. And one night I was in the club and I got introduced to network marketing. Sounds crazy. So he thought I was somebody else. I kind of knew his face. He knew my face. He told me about an opportunity that he had, and they were expanding this area. A few days later, I went to a home presentation.
Yeah.
They were like showing, hey, all you gotta do is get two and they'll get two. It's a ground floor.
So like Amway type thing from back in the day. Maybe not Amway, but something like that. Yeah.
100% similar to Amway. So I jumped into that company, and fast forward, like it didn't work out like they told me it would work out.
Surprise.
Right? But that what did happen, it introduced me to two things. Number one is personal development. So I got introduced to like the great Jim Rohn, Miles Monroe, all these amazing individuals. And then it introduced me to direct response marketing. So when I began to learn direct response marketing, because my warm market wasn't ideal for what I was looking to build on the network marketing thing.
Yeah.
So I went head first into direct response marketing, like get my hands on anything I can get my hands on. And then I started teaching what I was learning. I was just teaching other network marketers. And then I realized that coaching was a real business.
Okay.
People started asking me to coach them. I was like, okay, this is fascinating. So I started teaching people, what I was doing, and I realized that my gift was actually teaching and really simplifying these complicated concepts so that other individuals could go apply it. So we grew our coaching company to six figures. Fast forward, we really niched down on client attraction, because we saw that was a big thing when it comes to business owners. And then we took that company to an Inc. 5000 company. And then we found that scaling a company isn't just getting more clients. Scaling a company actually is a lot more than just getting more clients, because you need to know all these other different assets. These different facets as well. So we started our current company, Strategic Scale Institute, where now we help business owners, coaches, consultants, service providers actually scale their businesses strategically while actually working 20 hours or less per week.
Wow. So it's a very holistic kind of thing. It's not just lead gen. It's not just about getting a bunch of new customers or clients or coaching clients. It's once you've got that, how to make sure their wheels don't fall off.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it sounds
100.
like you might have learned that from some painful personal experience there, Markwell.
100%. Like I built every area is like me solving a problem for myself. And then it's like, okay, probably other people might have the same problem. So let me systemize this so I can share it with others.
Well, would you mind if we kind of just poke around a little bit around some of the different areas that you help people?
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Okay, so right now we're getting towards September of 2025 that we're recording this. Um, what are you finding works best, and what are you recommending to your clients and your students, first of all, with lead generation to bring on new prospective clients or customers?
So what I'm finding that works best is like having a hybrid approach. And this hybrid
Okay.
approach is a mixture of ads, because it's going to help with top of mind awareness.
Mm,
People be finding out who you are, and then also leveraging strategic content, like really creating value-based content. Because I believe the best way you can help people is by the best way to prove to people you can help them is by just actually helping them. So when you bring people in with your content, your ads are going to help more people see your content. And then your content is going to help your ads convert more because when people see your ad for the first time, people are more skeptical now than ever.
yeah.
Now you can actually have content where they can dig into it. And I think podcasts are like great platforms to do that. So now individuals can go in and start to consume your content. So now they can actually get to know you better. So Google did a study and they were like, it takes people 7 hours of content. Generally speaking, it takes people 7 hours of content, 11 touch points in 4 different locations. So when you have the ads dynamic and the content strategy and you tie it together, that really helps when it comes to the lead generation, the lead nurturing, and then the lead conversion process.
So for an old dinosaur like me, Markwell, what does that actually kind of look like? So well, let me kind of tell you what I think you're saying, and
Okay.
then you correct me. So you're saying not just having ads on one platform, having ads on different platforms, so they're seeing you in a bunch of different places. So Facebook ads, Instagram ads, maybe Google ads, YouTube ads. I don't know what you're recommending. Those kind of ads. And then what are those ads telling people to do? Is it like book a call type ads, or is it get my free download type ads, or what's the general outlook that way?
So great question. So I think to really simplify it is I like to recommend starting with one platform. So let's just use Meta for example, because Meta is going to consist of Facebook and Instagram, and then of
Mhm.
course their audience networks. So let's say for example we're running an ad, and let's say this is for coaches, and let's say the ad is let's say in the video I'm like, hey, for the past, 15 years, we've been a coaching company and we've really simplified the process of getting new clients. If you're a coach or consultant, you're amazing at what you do. Enough people just don't know who you are. It really boils down to 3 things. And I would cover those 3 things. And I'll say, okay, by the way, I actually created a whole step-by-step formula that you can actually download and you can implement into your business. Click on the link right now. Go get access to it for 100% free. So now they'll click on a link in that ad, go download this thing. So that may be their first time hearing from me. I don't expect them to see that and then go schedule a call and
Got
jump
it.
right in, right?
So
So
to a free lead magnet type thing. That's
bingo,
the ad. And
bingo,
then they've opted in, so you got name and email address. Okay, cool.
bingo.
Then what happens, Markwell?
Well, typically we like to get so we, typically like we like to get the name, email, and phone number
Mm,
because now we can text and then we can also even call, right?
mhm.
So now from there we can actually retarget those individuals because now we got a few different data points. So one data point is this is one of the reasons I love video ads because now just because they watch that video, now we can actually retarget them with certain ads based on them watching that video. Then based on them going to opt in and give us their name, email, and phone number, obviously we can retarget them based on the action that they took as well. And then we got their data in terms of their name and phone number also. So now we got
Right.
them, we can follow up in different strategic ways.
Exactly.
And
With the retargeting ads, with emails, with text messages, with phone calls, ding, ding, ding. You're hitting them different
bingo,
ways. Got it.
bingo. And then from
Cool.
there, in one of those follow-up emails, for example, I could say, hey, I was just on this show with my man Dave, called High Ticket Success, specifically for coaches and consultants. Go check out the full episode. It was really amazing. We shared a lot in there on like how you can grow your business. Go check this out. So now we've sent them to another piece of content. So now they're consuming another 20, 30 minute plus piece of content as well, just getting
Right.
to know me a little bit better.
Getting closer to those 7 hours.
Bingo.
That's kind
Bingo.
of the idea. Got it.
Bingo.
Smart,
Now
smart,
they're gonna be
smart.
like, this guy, who is this guy, Marquel? Let me find out a little bit more about him. And they go type in my name, and now they start watching other content. Now they just binge watching content. Now when they eventually book a call and speak to somebody, me or somebody on the team, now they're like, man, I've been binge watching your content. I saw you on this podcast. I saw you on this podcast. I saw these videos that you were creating. And I love what you're doing. I want to see how you can help me put this all together because now the content has done all the things. And I believe that great marketing makes selling unnecessary. So if you're doing all the marketing touch points and your marketing has done all the heavy lifting, now having the conversation is a lot more just logistics, just kind of saying if they're a good fit, if you're a fit, can you actually help them? And it is more of an enrollment conversation versus a sales conversation.
Really, really smart, especially if they're getting hours and hours into Marquel.
Yeah.
They already have that know, like, and trust factor built up. You don't have the faintest clue who this person is. Well, yeah, you do. They opted in, but it's a very one-sided thing so far.
Yeah.
But by the time they show up on the call with you or a person on your team, they feel very connected to you.
Bingo. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
very, very smart, Mike. Well, so I suck at ads. I've tried them. I've hired agencies to do this stuff for me. It always, always, always ends in failure and a lot of wasted money.
Yeah.
So when you're working with people, are you helping them to dial this in themselves? What kind of ad budget do you recommend people start with, especially if you're a coach or a consultant and perhaps things aren't rolling as nicely as you'd like them to? What does that realistically look like?
So great question, and that's literally the identical experience that I had. So I've hired tons of ad agencies, all the different things, and we tend to speak to a lot of business owners, similar situations. So the way we do it is more of a partnership, doing it with you, right? So
Uh,
typically individuals come to us, they're not ad experts. They're life coaches, they're business coaches, they're fitness trainers or whatever the case may be. So ads aren't their expertise when it comes to the tech and all that. So essentially what we do is we do it together. Like we help them flesh out the messaging because the messaging is the big domino when it comes down to creating profitable ads. The offer, big domino. So we're going to work together on making sure all those things are together, and then their marketing funnel, and not only their marketing funnel, but the whole ecosystem. So we help develop that at first because all those things are going to determine the profitability of the ads.
mm.
Then when it comes down to actually launching ads, again, that all the tech, all that, we're helping do all that, helping build the funnels, the follow-up emails, the retargeting. We're literally doing all that together. Of course, you bring in your expertise based on what you bring, and then us bringing our expertise when it comes to the ads. And then we get the ads launched. Then when we get the ads launched, we have specific dashboards on like how we're tracking the data and saying if these ads are actually performing or if they're not performing. So we're analyzing that data together. We're making decisions based on that data together. And so that way, again, you don't have to be an ad expert. We're literally doing all this with you. And at the same time, you're also empowered because you or somebody on your team, you actually know what's going on in a very simple way. So that way you're not reliant on us forever. So if it's the weekend or we're on vacation or whatever the case may be, or you decide to go out
Mm.
and do your own thing, you're still empowered to make decisions when it comes to your ads. Or if you do decide to hire an ad agency, the ad agency can't just tell you anything and you just go along with it. You actually know what's going on as well.
You plug them
So
into your system, basically.
bingo,
Yeah,
bingo.
yeah,
So, or
yeah.
we train somebody, or sometimes if the coach or consultant has a business part or has somebody on their team, we'll train and develop them. So now they got their own in-house ad person. So that's what we do in terms of like the execution. In terms of ad budget, it typically varies. So we have clients that start off $5 or $10 a day, right? Just to start testing and get some data. We have some clients who start off at $100 a day. They're like, hey, I want to jump in a little more aggressively. And then we show them how to allocate that. But the beautiful thing about ads is you can find out pretty quickly if you got something that's working. So that way you're not spending hundreds or thousands of dollars before you find out if you got something that's actually working or not.
Okay, very good. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, thank you for explaining how that works. So once somebody's got the ads working, they're chugging along, they get these people coming to them, they've consumed a bunch of content, the enrollment process is smoother and easier. Uh, what do you find that is the next problem that people have once the lead generation is going pretty good? Where do the wheels tend to fall off first?
Typically in fulfillment. So
Ah,
typically, yeah, so typically it's in fulfillment. So we have this process, it's called our strategic scale flywheel. We want to have a strategic, we want to have a scalable offer, right? We want to have a scalable marketing system. We want to have a scalable sales system, and we want to have a scalable delivery system, like flawless client delivery. And it's specifically when we're talking about coaches, right? Because a lot of
mhm,
times coaches and consultant, they have legit expertise, but they're like, nobody else can fulfill my expertise as good as I can. So they
mhm.
begin to be the bottleneck. So maybe they're already doing one-on-one and they're doing it successfully, but so that sometimes that may look like shifting into a group coaching model. And it's like, how do you, and sometimes they're like, well, how do I do a group coaching model and still have people coming in evergreen? Well, then we show them how to create it's like a triad approach, right? Where it's like, you want to have community, you want to have curriculum, and then you have coaching. So you have some kind of baseline curriculum that they're going through on an ongoing basis. And then you have like a weekly coaching call where you got group, because the reality is, and this was the hardest thing for me when I first started doing coaching, because I just did one-on-one.
Yeah.
I thought group coaching was less valuable. But in reality, group coaching is more valuable for the clients that you're serving, and it's more efficient for you as well, because now you can serve one to many, and now you get the benefit of the cumulative effect of the expertise. So if we have four clients on a call, for example, on a Zoom, and I'm helping Karen, for example, Mike, Jane, Joseph, they also get the expertise of me helping Karen work through her specific challenge. So even if they haven't got to that point yet, they're like, huh, that was a question that got answered that I didn't even realize that I had, but it's super
Mhm.
beneficial. So showing you how to effectively do that, or if they're doing group coaching, how do you streamline the fulfillment process? So even if you're the coach or on vacation, how can you still have clients get on board and still get served? So in short, I think that specific area where the wheels tend to fall off is like in the fulfillment, and streamline
Yeah.
that field fulfillment without dropping the quality.
Okay, so that I can see how shifting into group coaching would work well for coaches and consultants, that sort of thing. What about when you're working with a service-based business? Is the goal really just to kind of help them get to capacity? Is that what the real goal is
A
there?
great question. So if it's a different type of service business, and now we're looking so just like the coach or consultant is like, we're like, how do we productize this? So if
Mm,
it's a coach or consultant, it's like, okay, how do we productize it? So if it's a digital marketing agency, or if it's, whatever the business is, like, how do we product, if it's a roofing company, like, how do we productize this? Well, like, every new client that comes on, because if you're great at what you do, you probably solve this problem for multiple clients. And if you really look at it and break it down to the ridiculous, you will see that every client you walk through, whether it's one-on-one or whatever, you're walking them through the same process. You typically just haven't looked at it as a process. So if you was to sit down and say, okay, when a new client onboards, what do you do? Then what happens? Then what do you do? Then what do you do? Then what do you do? And now we name this process, and we're like, okay, if this happens, then what? If this happens, then what? This happens, then what? So now when people come on, they're actually buying a product, so to speak. This
not
product
a person
isn't
so much.
bingo, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a service, but it's productized. So now they know it's a defined start process and it's a defined ending. And now we know, okay, if you go through this process, here's what's going to happen. So regardless of the business, we want to productize. So it's kind of like if you go to Chipotle, for example, right? So
Hmm.
you go to Chipotle, they got a few different types of containers. I mean, you can get a burrito.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mark. Well, you froze up for a second there. You're just talking about productizing a business that isn't accustomed to being productized. You're talking a little bit about the whole Chipotle idea. So
Yeah.
let's pick up where you left off.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go to a Chipotle, Chipotle knows the end goal is to eat, and they know you don't want traditional fast food, right? So it's like, okay, we give you a couple different options. So if service-based business, you might be like, okay, we got a done for you, done with you, and a complete, custom 1 day VIP day or whatever that may look like, right? So it's like, here's the different containers, and then you have specific ingredients. So your ingredients may be your coaching calls, it might be your curriculum, it might be your events, or it might be whatever that may look like in terms of your ingredients. So if you're a business owner and you're watching this, like, just think through what are the ingredients in terms of your outcomes. So a cool way to look at this is, all right, if you were to break your process down in six to eight milestones. So when a new client comes on board, let's say you're a fitness trainer and you like typically they might do an onboarding assessment. So that's number one.
Right.
Number two, you might do this. Number three, you might do this. So let's break this down in six to eight. So again, we're curriculumizing this. If you're not a coach or consultant, you're a different type of service-based business. You're still looking like what are the specific milestones. So now, regardless if you're walking somebody through the process, me walking somebody through the process, or Dave is walking the person through the process, it's literally the same process. So if you're on
Okay.
vacation, you don't even have internet connection, you know when a new client comes on board, the same process is happening over and over and over again. So regardless
It's
of
just not you doing it. It's somebody else
just
doing
not
that
you
for you.
doing it, right? And the
Got it.
process can just happen over and over and over and over again.
Mark. Okay, that makes complete sense.
Hmm.
Marquel, this is fascinating. I love your story. I love how you got into all of this. What a windy path.
Definitely.
I guess looking back on things 15, 20 years since you first kind of got started with all of this, what have been some of the big aha takeaway moments for you so far in your journey?
I think the biggest thing is number one is if you want to multiply, you got to simplify. A lot of
Mm,
times we can just overcomplicate things, but what we found is that typically the simplest solutions are the best solutions. That's number one. Number two, in AI, this AI era is highlighting this more than ever, is that personal brand is one of the most valuable assets you're gonna have because you
mm.
can't duplicate personal brand, right? And number three is relationships. Like AI is not going to replace like real, genuine relationships. And I think all this stuff, and I tell my clients like, what's old is new again. So actually having real human conversations with people. At one point, I saw a process where everybody wanted to automate everything. Even webinars were automated,
Yeah.
right? People weren't on, but like people now are craving connection and depth. So it's like how
With real people, right?
with
Because
real
now with
people,
AI, it's
not
so hard to
actual real
tell
people.
what's fake versus what's real.
Bingo.
So I don't know, this is my gut feeling, Markwell, and I'm a big fan of using AI as a tool.
Me too.
But I think people are just going to get sick and tired of all of this AI generated fluff and crap and
Yep.
stuff that's out there. And they're going to be desperate for that human connection and to know like who a real person is and who can really help them and
Bingo.
man versus machine kind of thing. What are your thoughts?
I agree 100%. I was even telling somebody the other day, my prediction is, especially when a lot of restaurants, when they shift into like having robots and things of that nature, like the more expensive restaurants are going to be the restaurants that say, "Hey, we have real humans here. So
Mm.
come enjoy. Not only we have amazing food, but we have real humans. Or hey, our food
Baking
might
it and
not be
serving
as
it. And
we
yeah,
have real humans. It's going to
yeah.
be it's going to cost you way more, but people are going to be happy to go pay the premium to be able to connect and be served by real, legit humans. So I'm with you 100%.
Interesting times. No, that's fascinating. Markwell, it sounds like you put together a very, very robust and valuable service for coaches and consultants and people that are in the high ticket business. If people want to take that first step and get to know more about you, where would you recommend they go?
So yeah, so whatever your favorite social media platform is, connect with me. It's just Marquel Russell. Send me a DM and let's connect. And for a ton of resources, you can actually just go to scalemadeeasy.com. So just scalemadeeasy.com. Got a ton of free resources for you to dive into and start implementing to growing your business.
We'll make sure we got that in the notes. Markwell, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you a little bit. Hats
Like,
off to you, sir, for doing a fantastic job creating a wonderful business.
thank
And
you.
really, not just with what you do, but like just probably being a big inspiration to a lot of people that kind of started off where you were back in the day. Things were looking pretty hopeless, and you dug yourself out and did a wonderful job of it. So
Thank you.
congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks for listening to the High Ticket Success Podcast. Want to be featured? Share your story and inspire other premium coaches, consultants, and advisors? Apply now at highticketsuccesspodcast.com/guest.